So I'm starting out here making my Ruth flower. The largest petals, I need 6 petals total, so I'm using 6 separate sheets of paper. For the medium size petals, I need 6 as well, so I'm doing 3 sheets with 2 petals cut out of each piece of paper. And then these 2 smaller sizes, I arrange them so I can get 6 petals of each on 3 pieces of paper. And then I'm going to cut out each individual petal and just place them aside. And they don't have to be 100% perfect. I wouldn't worry about completely tracing over each line. If you mess up a little, if you go over the line, under the line, they want them to look natural. You want them to look as real as possible. So they're not all going to be completely perfect. And when you shape the petals, it'll really help if you made any mistakes cutting them. You won't be able to see them. So next I'm going to go over each petal and just try to erase any pencil marks that you can still see, especially with this template because you're folding the petals in both directions. So for some of my other templates, you don't really need to erase, but for this one, because you technically will see the back of the flower, even if you turn the template around, you'll still see that pencil mark. So I go over, erase anything I need to, and then this is when I also shape the petal. You can see I'm using my glue stick to shape them. And then I also cut a slit a little over halfway, probably like 3/4 of the way down. And the slit really determines how high up your petal is going to sit. So if you cut your slit really short, your flower is going to be really tall. And if you cut it longer, your petals are going to be more flat. So your flower will be wider. And it's really just up to personal choice. I like to make mine a little longer. I used to make them really short, and I really didn't like the way that those turned out, so I decided to cut them a little longer so my petals are more flat and the flowers widened out. So here I'm just gluing every petal together, the slit, and this is what gives them the shape, and this is what makes them 3D, and so they're not flat. And I just put a line of glue down and then glue over it and then fold. Next, I cut the base. I just use a circle. I don't do anything specific. For this one, you can see that my petals towards the base are a little messed up because I actually glued this flower, the first layer of petals down, and I didn't like the way it turned out, so I had to tear it all up and retry. And that's perfectly normal. That's going to happen to you. You may not like the way it turns out the first time. Just rip it off. Don't throw away the petals. Don't throw away the flower. Rip it off and then retry. And I also the way I lay the petals out is I want the center of the highest layer, if this makes sense, the center of the highest petal in between the 2 other petals underneath it. So it's like more of a tapered look and they're not just stacked right on top of each other. So I lay all 4 layers out like this, and then I get rid of any glue strings, and there you go.